2-2 on the scoreboard. Match point for both teams. And 2 days in a row, we are going all the way to a Game 5. Right when Best of 5 start up, they are delivering an insane performance from 100 Thieves Academy to come back into this series. And we don't have any segments planned. No shenanigans this time around. It's all business because we got to give justice to these players. I'm going to have us go down the line and just talk about the importance of this final game for whichever team you're rooting for, whichever team you're pulling for. And also, I want to hear the surprises. Julius, I'm going to start with you at the very end of the line. What shocked you from this series so far? Because going into the day, I mean, there were maybe some people that thought it would go the full 5 games. I was not one of them. What were you thinking?
I think I'm most shocked by 100 Thieves, continuing to play the way they played versus AGT the first time. There haven't been that many adaptations outside of Game 1. They kind of just stuck to their guns and said, no, it was gameplay, we had this, our plan was fine, we'll just try to do the same things. And they've gotten to Game 5, so we can see if it keeps working.
The draft adaptations have been something to follow, though. I think that getting rid of the Udyr was helpful for them. I chatted with Keel before even going into the game today, and he said, look, I know I play a lot of champions that the Academy teams and junglers aren't necessarily prepared for, but I also can play things like the Xin Zhaos, like the Jarvans, these more aggressive early game champs. Cool to see those coming out, even though they're not picking up wins right there. Magical, you're up next. What shocked you the most from this series so far?
It shocked me the most. Maybe a backdoor attempted with a weird ass play that happened, stuff like that. But otherwise, honestly, this series is delivering for me. I think this is exactly what I expected going into this. I expected a 5-game series here. I know a lot of other people weren't, but I thought both teams, especially looking at the last time they played one another, then the journeys that they've had going through this, I thought this would go to the full mile.
Okay, so you were a believer in the 5 games. Joshi, were you a believer?
No, I was expecting that this, regardless of who won, it was probably going to be over in 3 or 4 games, right? Based on the way that these teams have played with momentum throughout the regular season,
Josh,
throughout
that's
Proving
how
Grounds.
It works when it's a best of 5. You either win with 3, 4, or 5. That's not a definitive.
No, I never said 5. I thought it was going to be 3 or 4.
You said 3 or 4, so that literally leaves one option out of it. I'm just saying that is a very boring take.
Oh, well, excuse me. Well, let me tell you about something that I was surprised a little bit about. I've been so impressed with how well Captain Shrimps has stepped up during this series, right? He's oftentimes one of the players that we don't focus on quite as much simply because he often plays a lot of odd characters. His impact on some games can be a little bit more tenuous on how it is he's going to be impacting the game. But bullying around Jimian multiple times, who has been one of our better Proving Grounds performances historically, has been a big upgrade for this player who hasn't necessarily seen an opportunity to jump up to Academy quite a while. Who was on the Cloud9 amateur squad with players like Wixie, Breezy, and XU, 2 of whom have been playing in Academy for a lot of that time since, and XU is now playing in the LCS. Captain Shrimps is now still trying to join them, and based on his performance this series, he's definitely making an argument for it.
Wixie even made the jump to Academy last split. Now he's at match point against the team that dropped him. This would mean so much for him. It would also mean a lot for BMFX to show, hey, there's a reason that I was picked up and brought onto this roster, because the top 4 finish would feel fantastic for that rookie in his first split. Who's going to take it, though? Because there's only 1 game left to go, and it's been pretty close. So let's go back down the line again. Julius, who you got?
Actually, at this point, I have 100A winning this Game 5. I think they figured it out. They realized, like, okay, let's just put Will and Lee Sin. Let's just hands check these people, and let's not, do any shenanigans. As long as they play and give themselves the tools to actually fight them, no more Boozy on Yuumi, please. I think they're the better team, and they have the better players.
Okay, I love it. Magical.
I don't have a coin flip. Because honestly, I feel like that's how this game is going to be. I feel like it is a coin flip. I can't give you a yes or no answer on either team winning.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So undecided from Magical. Joshi. Come on, man. Don't let me down.
Drinking the ginger turmeric. I feel like that's our answer.
He's doing it. Let's go. I'm right there with you, Joshi. I'm right there with you. Chug, 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 chug. Yeah!
That's a lot of juice.
I hope it tasted all right as well. Best of luck, trying to process all that for this next game, because Pick and Ban is ready, everybody. So for the final time, remote for all of Proving Grounds, I'm going to pass it over. Magical and Joshi for Pick and Ban.
A lot of finals today, and it will be the final game for one of these two teams. Which one will make it out on top? Which one will continue the march forward and face off against Team Liquid Academy in the quarterfinals? Well, we only can find that out after playing this game with AOE Ginger Turmeric actually opting for the blue side this time around. Look at the bans. They banned that Wukong against Will. Same with Azir, something that we've seen permanently banned away from Jimmian. But the other side, Draven. Do they ban the Draven last?
I mean, that's the big thing, right? They banned the Draven here, and the Fiddlesticks was not locked in for AGT. And now as the kill ban comes through, they are once again setting up for a Fiora pick going over to Moose Hater. We saw it last time with this ban, and they're going to do it again.
If I'm 100 Thieves, I would have actually not banned either Fiora or the Draven here, because then you force the hand. You get tenacity onto that Fiora that he's been coveted playing, that he loves to play blind especially. But they instead banned that, so Moose Hater will play Fiora, and we have the jungle matchup this time around. Both of them, early skirmish potential.
It feels like spring all over again, Magical. We get to see so many of the champions that were good in the spring split coming back. The Xin Zhao versus the Lee Sin was so common earlier on this year. The Victor almost everywhere. The Fiora, a little bit of a newer addition, but Moose Hater is going to be confident doing it again. We saw that last time we actually had tenacity pushing him around on the Akali for the beginning of the game, but it didn't matter later on. And Captain Shrimps, everybody going back to comfort at this point. Everybody going back to a character that they have had success on throughout this tournament thus far. And 100 Thieves, they're already building a lot of front lines so that they can actually try and protect this Victor.
Okay, do we expect the Renekton more or the Jax more for tenacity? Yep, you're right. Tenacity picking up Jax to go toe-to-toe in the side lane against Moose Hater's Fiora.
And this is playing into what Julius was saying. He wanted to see more from 100 Thieves. He wanted to see them not put themselves on a timer. He wanted to see them have a lot of champions that will continue to scale into the game. The Victor does that. The Jax does that. And so you just need Will to be your bridge. He just needs to get you to the spot of the game where these characters are going to come online. And 100 Thieves, they're not currently on a timer. And as they take away the Sonar, they're taking away another scaling tool away from Duo King. Wixie, for as well he's been playing a lot of these laning phases, hasn't necessarily stepped up in a lot of these team fights, and he's losing his Draven over and over again.
Permanently banned this entire series, same with Jimmian on that Zir. A lot of permanent bans from both teams, making sure they take away as much power as truly possible from their opponents. And speaking of power, bot lane, the focus for both sides. That Blitzcrank banned again with the Lulu that you had already mentioned, banned way towards Busio. Curious to see if they leave that Yuumi open just to see if they can force Busio on it.
I mean, I don't even hate the Yuumi at this point. As much as we've already seen coming out from 100 Thieves, it looks like AGT don't want it to come through either, but the Senna pick coming through. This might be the tried and true.
Yeah, this might be what we saw all season long.
Yeah, again, this is a pick that they consistently had BMFX play through the regular season, and it sets up for Busio's Yasuo, it sets up for Busio's Tahm Kench. He's played so well on all of these characters throughout the regular season thus far. It is a major reason why we've seen so many wins come out from 100 Thieves, was Busio was given the tools to be able to play during all of these games. He's gonna get a lot more gold all of a sudden, and now we're seeing Wixie wants to play the Kalista into it. He is really gambling on finding advantages in the laning phase, and so far they need to find something else that can play aggressively. But Duo King, he's been mostly playing scalers.
Right, he's been more of the scaling champions. Then talk about engage. Well, there you go. You got the cow on your side, or you can throw that in as Wixie. And I am going to hold off on quantifying the spot lane just yet, because Busio, he's been playing a lot of these different styles when paired with Senna. And I'm curious to see if backs against the wall, they decide to go for Seraphine.
The only question is who's going to play which side of this duo line. I'm expecting BMFX is probably going to be getting the Seraphine, and Boosty will probably get the Senna. But it can realistically go either way. Like, both of them can do this. They have had a lot of ability to support the rest of the matchup, but we see this huge front-to-back team fight coming through from 100 Thieves. It really spikes on the first item, the second item, and that's when AGT are still in a weird transition phase, right? Callista is past the peak relevance by that point, and Corki hasn't always come online, and so AGT, with all of the dragon stacking that they've done thus far, even with the Corki package, it's going to be so difficult to play for the second and third dragon this game.
It will be Boostio piloting Seraphine in this bot lane. Man, that is a lot of range to deal with if you're Wixie and Duo King. And that is so interesting to see how both teams have decided to go about this. They got skirmish potential, they have some scaling, but really it is mid-game versus late game that I'm seeing that they have drafted against one another for this final game.
And so this is a challenge coming out to AGT, right? They've typically been playing for Keel. They've been giving him a lot of tools to farm into the game, but now he's on the Xin Zhao. He's going up against the Senna Seraphine composition. Now Keel is being targeted and saying, you need to be the one who makes plays early on in this game. Let's see if he can dive the bottom lane of 100 Thieves.
Alrighty, let's get into this game. It is the last of the remote broadcast. It's the last that we have for our 4th week of the Proving Grounds, and it's going to be the last game for either AOE, Ginger, Turmeric, or 100 Thieves Academy. As both teams, they run down the map, and you can see 100 Thieves, they want to start this game off strong.
You are also seeing, as is always going to be the case, BMFX is going to be on the Senna with the Spectral Sickle, not going to be farming. They're going to be giving the money over to Alan, Busio, Qualina, and now as they start moving into the bottom side of the map, trying to catch somebody out.
Nobody. I like this from Wixie. His old team. He knows the plays. He's like, you know what, they probably have all booked it down to the spot lane. All of them are in that dry bush. I'm not going anywhere near it. Even if it's the line of scrimmage that I need to set up, I'm betting they're there.
They're not going to find anything, and the screen that was created by AGT will not crumble at the beginning. No deep wards coming out from 100 Thieves, but they will get to see a little bit about whether or not people will be trying to leash. And as Duo King checks the bush for his AD carry, they're going to see them already there, knowing that Keel should be starting on the top side of the map. And so, as both junglers start up here, remember what we set up. Senna Seraphine does peanuts for damage earlier in the game. It needs to be on Will to try and protect his bottom lane from getting dove around the third wave.
Only thing they can really do is outrange the spot lane of Wixie and Duo King. Like you said, without that much damage, Duo King shouldn't feel too threatened facing off against them. We'll expect that level 2 lead for Wixie and Duo King in the bot lane. But I want to talk about the jungle matchup because we have Lee Sin versus Xin Zhao. Both of them want to make these early plays happen. But I look at their level 3s and I'm curious to see if they actually look for that or just look to see if they can skirmish each other.
I mean, I don't feel as though they really want to do that, right? I don't think you want to flip in the jungle. Right, this is definitely a game that is going to be so focused around both teams' backlines. You have the Seraphine Senna Victor coming up for 100 Thieves. You have the Corki plus the Callista, and they're going to be doing the bulk of the damage, but no push coming out from AGT's bottom lane. Duo King using both of his Relic Shield procs on the wave right away. Not going to be building up enough of a push off of this. And so this creates a situation where they're not necessarily going to dive, but Senna Seraphine do need to be very careful as they push around, and Will already there to try and protect them.
Will's nearby. With Keel in the same vicinity, there is a possibility. We have those early trades, the early skirmishing, but a 3v3 one in the bot lane coming out from both sides. Could make or break the game right out of the gate. With everything on the line, Will is pathing down towards the bot lane.
Yeah, both junglers are coming around, and Duo King, he's threatening. He's getting a little bit of a jiggle in to see, like, am I going to go in or am I not? Am I going to be backing away? trying to create some pressure, but as this wave does crash, it'll allow BMFX and Busio to leave the lane. They don't have to stick around at this point, and they're doing a better job farming as well. And at the same time, in the mid lane, while Jimmy hasn't gotten a kill off of Captain Shrimps yet, and he hasn't built up a huge lead already, he's forcing Captain Shrimps to back away. And Victor, this Victor that Jimmy has been playing so far, he's only really played this throughout Proving Grounds, right? It's not something where you had a whole lot of success on during the regular season, but now in Proving Grounds, we see a fight.
Oh, BMFX has to flash away, but the flash in to make sure they get the stun. Keel, Wind becomes light and didn't connect because they didn't need it to. They got first blood for Wixie against his old team.
And there you go, taking down his replacement. Great stuff coming out from Duking, and Wixie, the flash engaged, takes down Senna. And again, Keel, this one is a bit more than the confidence gate, right? BMFX and Busio might have been able to turn this, but the amount of damage that they're able to do right away means that Keel just shows up and gives Wixie and Duking even more presence. BMFX and Busio backing away, and now the tide of the bottom lane is turned.
Also, massive props to Duking. He places down the ward, sees BMFX, does not hesitate. Immediately pulls the trigger, be like, you are dead. I've got Keel nearby just in case you somehow are able to get away. But all in all, worked out for AOE Ginger Turmeric, where they get that first blood gifted over to Wixie. And you had said before, you want to see Wixie against his old team really be given the helms to try to carry the team. And here it is, Game 5, the most important one, do or die for both teams. He's already started off to a pretty good lead.
And Wixie, again, as he comes back onto the map, remember, on this list, the longer you stay ahead, the better your character is. You want to find all of these fights, and finding the early Berserker's Greaves will give them more power. Wixie is continuing to build strength right now, whereas BMFX and Busio, their characters just kind of fall behind. A lot of their base stats relatively low. Busio doesn't really have damage just quite yet, and so this becomes even more dangerous for BMFX and Busio over the next several minutes.
Oh, Crusader tries to fight against Tenacity. That's going to be the riposte to use. Vital proc just to get a little bit of health back. Crusader did take the bad end of that trade, as now we go into the mid lane. Keel a little bit too far, and they've got the last embrace to connect. The flash might get him a little bit of distance, but Will looks to follow it up. Tries to get over the wall with an audacious charge. Smite to get health back, but Will, he's on the hunt. Joking, gotta protect him. They gotta get back, but that's gonna be the stun, the root. They've got the damage. Keel, he tries to survive, but it's gonna be Will. No, Will still not able to take him just yet. Will had to focus instead on the Duo King, as Keel is still trying to escape from this entire battle. Looks for a little bit of damage on the other side as Wixie tries to re-engage. 2v4 would be a bit risky. Agent Keel was dead in the alcove, so you have to bail completely from the fight, giving over 2 kills to 100 Thieves.
And great roam coming out from Busio and BMFX. They move towards the mid lane. They catch Keel, trying to kill a ward. And this was a great read on the map. Busio and BMFX, again, their wave is coming in. They don't need to be in the bottom line. And they catch out Keel. And while Keel has a heroic effort to try and keep himself alive, the heads up to go over the dragon. Duo King even trying to block the resonating strike, the sonic wave. It's Busio that steps up in game 5. The double root keeps everybody locked down for long enough that they find the kills. And the crucial part of it, even more than just the kills, they're giving it over to Jimmy. Victor with early takedowns is a monster. He gets so much value out of these early takedowns. He's already got his first evolve. He has so much control over this lane against Shrimps.
Got 2 kills his name, as well as 4 stacks on Dark Seal. He's in a great position at the moment. The only thing that might be a saving grace for AOE Ginger Turmeric is Captain Shrimps, having stayed in mid lane, is able to get himself pretty good lead in minions as well. Try to see if he can start scaling up with the Hex Drinker and the Tear of the Goddess.
I mean, it is small solace, right? It is still the core key. The core key is not going to be relevant for the next couple of items. For the next 10 minutes or so, the core key will still be waiting behind, but they still managed to get the first dragon.
Crusader fighting against Nasty, Grand Challenge. But it was going to be the Grandmaster's arms that kind of keep them at bay, with Will, Jimmy looking for Mutator. Got Flash, the kick into the wall because he doesn't have Riposte available anymore, so Jimmy now on a killing spree as Victor.
3 kills already getting picked up by Jim, and he's so strong already, and Tenacity crashing this massive wave while Moosehater doesn't have teleport. AGT across the map are crumbling, and Keel looking for his way back in. He's not even doing the blue buff. He doesn't want to get spotted. He's trying to make this dive work. He's bringing Captain Shrimp. This needs to work for AGT to still have a hope.
For a long wraparound. So they'll spot out Captain Shrimp, but they have no idea that Keel is also here with a minion starting to pour in the flash in. Looks for the stun. Busio, he's low, but that encore might have saved their lives with the face call now. Looking to see if they can turn it around. Somehow, finally, Busio only falls with a double kill picked up by Wixie, but trading Captain Shrimp's life for it.
An AGT, they managed to find the kills, but as you said, Captain Shrimp's going down means he can't farm. There's a lot of gold that ends up going over, and while AGT feel desperate to make this play, they do most of it cleanly. They don't get everybody out. They don't trade the aggro in the way that they need to, and losing these members, being forced to use this is so scary.
Mid lane, Keel. You can't fight against Jimmy, and he's 4-0. You've now got him with 8 stacks on Dark Seal.
8 stacks, and he's already got another evolve. This Victor is going to be impossible to deal with for AGT. He's coming alive right at the right moment, and 100 Thieves, they find another neutral objective. And Moosehater, he has to try and do something. He's desperate, though.
He is very desperate, trying to fight back against Nasty. He's already gotten grievous wounds for this matchup to try to really take over the side lane against Moosehater right from the get-go, since mid lane, as you talked about, already having to evolve. Look at that. Luden's Tempest already completed for Jimmy. He's got a 1,500 gold lead, and we're not even 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, having this Luden's already is ridiculous. This is the wet dream for a lot of Victor players. You want to be this strong. This is what you strive to always do. And so now we've been looking at the way that Jimmy has been playing. He's been playing this Victor so well. His ability to navigate fights and keep himself alive has been ridiculous so far on this champion. But AGT, the one player that they still have is the player that we've kept hyping up. It's Wixie. He's got 3 kills on this Callista already. He needs to start finding even more, because as we've already looked at, with the way that AGT's composition works, Wixie needs to stay strong for as long as possible so that he can allow Captain Shrimps to eventually come online.
The weight of the world is on Wixie's shoulders. What better way for him to win than be the carry against his former team as well, right, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, Michael Fernandez, Wixie, one of the players that I remember watching and was so impressed when he started coming into the ecosystem. Oh.
I saw that too. I was ready at a moment's notice to be able to take that away from you, but continue talking about Wixie, because I feel like we have a little bit of a respite of potential fights for now.
And we'll see how long that lasts, right? Wixie was one of these players that in previous incarnations, right, when he was playing on the Cloud9 amateur roster, which we keep going back to because how successful so many of their players have been. We got the wide Wixie to come through. They were always playing enchanters to make sure that Wixie could carry them. We were seeing the Karmas, we were seeing the Lulus. And it's almost shocking to me that in this last game that they're playing, when we've seen so much enchanter play coming out from Duo King thus far, they shift on over to the Alistar. And so it's a different way of playing for Wixie. We're continuing to see if he can find this revenge against the team that dropped him. And so far, again, laning phases have gone well. He's gotten caught by Tenacity a lot.
That he has. Tenacity is someone who we've already seen before. Previous series, nonetheless, where he has popped off, especially when he's able to play these flankers like the Aatrox now on Jax with a little bit of a lead, actually making a lot of a bit of a lead over Moosehater at this point.
As the blades get taken down, 100 Thieves, they will give up a crab, but it's, again, small solace coming through for AGT. Will goes!
Ooh, looks for Keel, but Keel is backing off. You don't know where the bot lane is. They see it's empty, so they expect that there was possibly a turnaround that could have happened for AGT.
And this is also the spot where I was saying the game was going to start becoming difficult for AGT, and that was going to be on even footing. 100 Thieves are already here first. You're trying to face check into a Senna Seraphine. Between the two of them, they create so much space for everybody else on their team. And Victor, with 4 kills, he can basically fight this all by himself as long as he has BMFX and Boostio behind him. He does so much damage throughout all of these fights, and as they create space in the mid lane, Captain Shrimps, he's picked up the package. They're going to try and force the issue.
Well, this is where it feels like it's going to be an impossible task for AGT, is somehow killing Jimmy. If they dive in on top of him, the Chaos Storm coming and brewing, getting a lot of damage back and forth. They've got Duo King and Keel nearby. The flash away, Jimmy survives.
He saves his shutdown as well. The package used from Captain Shrimps, that was one of their big teamfight tools. He was like, great, now I'm going to teleport back into the lane. I'm going to teleport right on back. They can still fight.
Heal is fighting against being effect on the other side, but you can see how much he heals with Zena. There's that TP you were talking about. Jimmy will rejoin. Captain Shrimps jumped on by Will, trying to use the Valkyrie to get away, but now with so much damage onto this dragon, they have to fully commit. They have to utilize the run they got, but Jimmy is looking to get inside of the pit himself, trying to see if they can steal it away with Dual King. Low, the double knockup. It's there. Moose Hater's here as well. They've got the pull back in with the knockup on a being effect. He's dead. It's a rampage for Wixie. Wixie, he's doing his damnedest to beat his old team, and with 4 kills to his name, 2 dragons, he's on the way to do so.
Moose Hater, though, teleporting down. He needs to get out now because the top lane turret is falling to Tenacity on the far side. The timer is still ticking for AGT. They get a second dragon, but they don't get a whole lot more than that. The turrets are falling all around them. That is so many plays that have gotten picked up. Tenacity gets 5 in the top lane. 5 are picked up in the mid lane as well, and almost none of that gold goes over to AGT. 100 Thieves laning phase has come back, baby.
Oh man, and look at the deficit poor Captain Shrimps has in this game. We gotta take a look at this replay, and Dual King definitely is someone who saves this play and makes it all worthwhile.
He makes it worthwhile for now, but look at how difficult this fight is, even when 100 Thieves don't have their battle lines drawn. They're 4 individual members, and now no. Captain Shrimps.
Valkyrie's away. Gotta be afraid of Jimmy when he has this kind of a lead, 2,100 gold, 2,200 gold over Captain Shrimps. Only 14 out of 15 minutes into this game. This is looking pretty difficult for AGT. We highlighted Wixie having all this gold himself. But it's nothing compared to Victor.
And Victor, he also gets his last evolution at the same time. The Chaos Storm gets bonus movement speed. All of his abilities will start slowing as well. And suddenly, we start seeing great ways for this Victor to also deal with the Callisto. Not only does he just do a huge burst of damage, but he slows the attack speed with the movement speed as well. And 100 Thieves, well, they've given up the first 2 dragons. I can't imagine they'll be giving over another one. They have the composition to actually try and team fight. They have a stronger split pusher. 100 Thieves can dictate exactly how this game is going to be played, and right now it's Nasty in the bottom lane with the teleport, so he can join if AGT even think about trying to contest.
But Josh, this is it for Amateur. This is their last stand. They have AGT fighting against 100 Thieves in a do-or-die 5-game series where it is all on the line. If Amateur can make sure they get to the land for the first time in the history of Proving Grounds, but not the first time they gotten into the top 4, this is all it. This is where they have to mount a comeback, and I'm looking at which lane's possibly going to be able to do that with a 5,000 gold deficit at 16 minutes.
Still Wixie, man. Still Wixie, right? It's all been about Wixie so far this entire season, it's almost felt like, right? Playing for Cloud9 Academy, he was subbed out for King eventually. He was playing for No Org, that team fell apart. Again, now finding himself on AGT. But I almost feel as though we need to give more credit to all the players on 100 Thieves at this point who have done such a phenomenal job stepping up. Even though not everybody has been playing great every single game, every single player has had games where they've been great. And so far, it's been so much focus on Jimmy and on this Victor, right? He's already gotten the 4 kills, but the story of this guy, he comes in to North America for 100 Thieves, and he comes in with a little bit of a shaky start. People aren't sure what to make of him. And during the second round robin back in spring, one of the weakest performances we've seen in a mid laner. But if you look at the actual Proving Grounds from spring, MVP back then of the whole tournament, and now we continue to see why this player has had so much faith put in him by 100 Thieves, stepping up yet again when push comes to shove, when their backs are against the wall. It's Jimmy who has 4 kills.
There's a reason why he's also the PCS MVP from last year. This guy's got a lot of talent to him, and when the pressure is put on him, he steps up. 4-0-1. 500 gold bounty, making sure that his team is set up for success, and Nasty, who's getting a free lane at all points in this game, is also going to be someone we have to keep our eyes out for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is the second time, right, that we've seen Moose Hater on this Fiora, and Tenacity sees that challenge and he's ready to take it. He was beating Moose Hater on the Fiora as a Akali. He's beating them now again as Jax, and the matchup gets better with time.
And he's also got a 2-level lead over Moose Hater, where he can show up into the spot lane and say, yeah, I don't even need to stay here. Tenacity's got this all right. I'll just pop down the Rift Herald, take the turret, my friend.
So much more money is being funneled down, but Captain Shrimps, he's got the package. Okay. They're going to try and contest for this dragon. AGT knows their main win condition is just taking flips around these dragons. You get all the infernal dragons, you get all the extra AD and AP, and maybe Captain Shrimps and Wixie will have the damage.
Go King went in. He went by himself. BMFX takes a lot of damage, but he should be alive. Or is he? Because that package cuts off the fight. Get a kick on to Captain Shrimps. The flash away. Somehow, both sides of the equation are alive. They lose Senna first. Will try to take down the cow. It will be a trade of 1-for-1 at the moment. Well, Jimmy gets jumped on by Moose Hater on the other side, but they don't have any assist coming in from Wixie. He's trying to get the spirits to land. That's going to be Moose Hater healing up the best he damn can against 3 members of 100 Thieves. They look for the root, the slows, anything possible, but Tenacity has to be careful. Or does he? The stun! Wixie now against the world. He tries to battle back, but we know there's no hope left. His former team crushes him in the fight.
For a team that you expect to only win with front-to-back team fight, 100 Thieves show that they just have the hands across the board. Tenacity coming up big in this team fight. Jimmy staying alive, and it looked like it was going so well for AGT at the beginning. They kill off the MFX very early on. They have the Senna, the Seraphine. There's nobody standing in front of them. They can be attacked, but Tenacity controls so much of this fight, prevents Captain Shrimps from doing the damage, and even though he gets booted out, he just goes to the other side of the fight. He helps out Jimmy, and the mid laner who had so much impact keeps them alive, and with a stun at the very end, Tenacity's ability to navigate these team fights is one of the main reasons why we look at this guy as the best top laner in all of Academy.
Just watching the stun, the counter strike, where it's perfect. I'm like, okay, that stops that, but he gets the double stun off of it, so they can take down Captain Shrimps. They can take down Moose Hater, and Wixie, he's got nothing left to do besides try to fight back.
Doesn't have the damage for it though, and we get to see 100 Thieves just demonstrating how they've beaten so many teams. They go into fight, it's crazy, and they still come out ahead.
As Moose Hater still down 2 levels to Tenacity. You're not going to be able to fight him. He's got an item lead over you with his own Divine Thundere, as well as getting at the Blade of the Rune King and having grievous wounds as well. This matchup does not look like it'll favor Moose Hater for any time in this game.
And now, as we start looking towards the end of this, again, let's start future casting a little bit, right? We are starting to see 100 Thieves. They are trying to find their way back to the top 4. They have been in so many best of 5s in the top 4 of Proving Grounds. They made it to multiple finals. They've been a team that has won in the past. Bucio was one of the major reasons why they took Team Liquid to 5 games, even as recently as spring. So many of these players just trying to have repeat performances.
And they would love to face off against that team that had bested them in the grand finals in spring to knock them out early so they don't even have a chance for the trophy. 100 Thieves Academy are in the perfect position to close out this game, deny Amateur the land, as well as march forward and look to face Destiny in the eye with Team Liquid Academy.
Now, 100 Thieves, remember, this is still a composition that eventually does have to deal with the core. He doesn't have the greatest tools to actually do that. Oh.
Okay. Still gonna be the stun, man. Tenacity, just reading this perfectly. That's one of the great things about Counter-Strike. You can recast it when you want. So if you're a Moose Hater, you have to be willing to use that riposte earlier on, but then Tenacity could just wait it out.
Exactly. It's such a tough matchup, and as the items continue to pour through, again, it doesn't get easier. Tenacity just jumps.
Jumps in, riposte, there's going to be that. Laid out the ground challenge, but that damage from Tenacity, way too much. Moose Hater had to dash back towards the base, but Tenacity has firm control of the bot lane.
He gets to heal up with the Blade of the Rune King, right? As long as he doesn't die, he can stay in this lane for what feels like forever. Now, 100 Thieves, with the amount of pressure that they're exerting on the opposite side of the map, they're starting to pull this Baron. The members of AGT, they're not strong enough to really contest, but they have to try.
They have to. That TP from Tenacity gets inside the pit. BMFX going to spot out some of the rotation coming in with the TP under the back line. It's level 14 Tenacity. Crushing straight just to get a little bit of distance, but Moose Hater also has to dash away. They're afraid of this Jax. He has too huge for them to be able to deal with as he jumps forward, looking to chase down the top side of the map of AGT as they continue to get out of danger. But Tenacity does not relent. The flash from Wixie to survive, but Tenacity, he is still hunting. He'll finally fall back when his team's not able to keep up.
This team is so far behind in terms of where they are on the map, right? They're struggling to try and keep up with how deep Tenacity is comfortable going. 100 Thieves, their composition is still really good if they're going to be kiting back. And so, 100 Thieves, they end up getting the teleport out of Moose Hater. They commit the teleport of Tenacity, but then they can go right on back to the previous plan. They've slowed down AGT's ability to actually clean up all these dragons. They've stopped the stacking of AGT once again, and that was a recipe for success for them in the previous game. Now, well on the way to doing it one more time. And AGT, they're trying to find Tenacity with multiple numbers.
It is a YOLO play if I've ever done seen it, because Tenacity can 1v3 if he damn well pleases, and he does just so, taking out Moose Hater, looking to turn back onto Jimmy. It is the one respite that they can have from AGT. The downs back on him, but it's a turn, 2 for 1. Tenacity still in the middle of the fight, looking to wait it out. Duking on the flank, Counter-Strike is there, and it's all Tenacity! He takes him down, he's alive finally. The Ren will rip him apart, but he's able to make that play work all by himself.
And it's the solo laners of the Thieves that are coming up big. Jimian teleports into what looked like certain doom, but he fights his way out, turns around so many kills, and 100 Thieves, they come to his rescue. They force members of AGT back, and it happens at a perfect time. Captain Shrimp still dead for this upcoming dragon. 100 Thieves continuing to build leads. Tenacity has taken control of the laning phase. He's taking control of the side lane, and 100 Thieves, they're using it to such great effect. Now as they grab another dragon for themselves, 100 Thieves continue to build up more and more damage. Can you imagine how much damage this Victor is going to be doing when they
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Look at the Baron. They started up. AGT,
the miracle run.
They're calling for the miracle run. They got a Callista on their side. They take this so quickly. They got a lot of damage onto it already. There are no TPs on the side of 100 Thieves. They can't answer this. Jimian might be in the vicinity, but he'll be way too late, even with the laser board, and trying to get a little bit of damage inside of the gravity well as well. It will be secured by AGT. Now they've got to escape. They've got to get out alive, because they have such a pivotal tool to get them back into the game. Dual King, are you going to get jumped on? It's Tenacity back into the map fight, and we've seen what Tenacity can do by himself. What about with the team? Jumping towards the blast cone will probably take that away, but it's going to be the other side. The pack is ripping up the fight. It's all Captain Shrimp. He's kicked away, but he did what he needed to. They've got the plays. Tenacity cut off from the team, but now Jimian got the damage to try to see if they can flattle back. They got peeled, caught out. They've got the picks on to everyone of AGT. They got the Baron, but at what cost? They have to run so far away. The Hunters will chase down the Moose Hater, or can they even get him? They'll let him escape this time around.
This game is absolutely crazy still. The small things that this game hinges on. We saw how they were able to take down the Senna Seraphine. In most games, that's enough to win you the team fight, but not this time. AGT, even though they get the Baron, the crucial part here is watch Wixie at the beginning of this fight. Even as they start getting ready to turn around and Captain Shrimp gets in the right spot, Wixie catapults to the wrong wall. No. He can't be part of this fight, and even though they get into the backline, Wixie is not hitting. By the time he gets back in, Tenacity is all over him like white on rice. There's nowhere for him to go. He has to get out on the other side. And he got maybe 2 autos off this entire fight. He's the one who's holding all the gold for AGT, and even though Captain Shrimp had a huge play, these small errors add up.
And with that, we see that the game and the lead is still firmly in 100 Thieves Academy's control. But with the Baron still remaining on 2 members of AGT, they possibly could crack their first turrets of the game. They have yet to actually topple one of those structures.
It's remarkable, too, that they don't have any objective bounties if they were to try and pick those up, right? It feels as though this game is crawling away from them over and over. But the one thing that they have going for them, they still have a Corki. This Corki is on 3 items. This Corki is level 15. And a lot of the time, into so many compositions, this would be enough for Captain Shrimps to be the primary carry for his team. There's so much sustain coming out on the side of 100 Thieves at this point in the game, right? You have Busio and BMFX, who both have heals. You have the shields coming through from Jimian as well. You have to get through all of this. And now, Tenacity.
We'll be fine.
He doesn't know, but he will back away. He doesn't want to tempt fate.
No, he's expecting that with nobody really present on the map outside of the mid lane, there's probably something fishy in this top lane. So he'll just clear out the minion waves. Captain Shrimp's still on level 15. We got to keep that target in mind. Once he hits level 16, they can utilize that to the fullest. Get that poke into the backline of 100 Thieves Academy. But really, it's got to stick to Jimmian and Jimmian alone. Otherwise, Jimmian and Tenacity will take over this game.
Captain Shrimps needs about a wave or two more in order to actually get towards that level 16. And as we take a look at the gold across the board, it's actually Tenacity who is the richest member on the entire map, right? 80 CS up on his lane opponent, consistently winning a lot of these laning phases, and now he's on this Jack, something that we haven't seen play nearly as much.
Moose Hater gets stunned by the counter-strike, and he might get dove underneath the turret. If it wasn't for the grand challenge, I think he would have looked for it.
Moose Hater, he's sticking around.
Okay, got Keel nearby. BMFX and Will here as well. Wixie looking to see if he can poke at Tenacity, who is big. He is difficult to deal with the ult that he has available for himself as well. He can easily survive the turret. They take it down. They look for the re-engage, but Tenacity still has to be a little bit more cautious. The poke that can come in from Captain Shrimp will whittle him down pretty quickly.
He's level 16 now. The AD ratio continuing to improve on those rockets, and they're looking for Jimmian.
Jimmian, when becomes lightning, doesn't have the audacious charge, the gravity well to deny the jump over the wall. The kick was there, but here's the TP from Tenacity. Fate's call to pull him back towards the turret. The TP will be burned. Tenacity now helps escort these minions into the inhibitor turret in mid.
So many people. Everyone at AGT gets out.
Oh, or do they?
Tenacity?
They're punching him back. You don't want Tenacity in the team. You had to get rid of him, and now they've got the kill on the cow. They look for the trade back on Tenacity, who's still huge. He's not afraid. Jumps back over the wall to survive as minions finally arrive in mid lane. 100 Thieves, they're on the precipice of victory. The precipice of getting further into the proving grounds. The fate, the side their destiny against Team Liquid. Honda, the Encore, ripping them apart, and AGT got nothing left in the tank. They've made it this far. They got the top 6, but 100 Thieves, the team they had first clashed with all the way back in round 1, will fall right at the hands of 100 Thieves Academy.
Captain Shrimps, he doesn't have any rockets, and 100 Thieves, they're taking it down. Oh, he's got the package!
The package, but is it worth enough? You gotta pick up all these kills, and they're just hitting the Nexus. Game, set, match. 100 Thieves will face off against Team Liquid Academy next week in the studio.
And 100 Thieves, it was so desperate for so long, right? It was so much deja vu from the last time these teams played against each other. Winning the first game, losing the next two, but they have the resilience to bounce back. These players are so ready to keep going in the play. They are so strong when they're pushed up against the wall. They have nowhere left to turn. They're able to turn it around, and they recognize their win conditions. Give Jimmian Victor, give him the tools necessary to actually play up against all of these other players. Allow him to just take control of so many of these team fights, and 100 Thieves make it to the top 4.
They got baited in by banning away a 0 every game, not realizing the victor is what's been the PowerPoint now for 100 Thieves Academy. They will march forward. AGT, they fought valiantly. They took it to game 5 against the runners-up of Spring, but unfortunately fall just shy of making sure they could have that trip to LA to play in land. We're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll have an interview with the victorious 100 Thieves Academy, who will be the ones venturing into LA. Make sure you stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for our post-series interview. We're here. We made it happen. We got Will on the broadcast to chat about the win and continuing on improving grounds. Will, I'm happy we finally got you on. We've always had tech issues every time we tried to get you on the show, but congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Thank you.
Close series. 5 games. They push you to your limit. Walk me through getting ready for that game 5, because it was a big comeback. Game 4 felt like, okay, the momentum swinging back in 100 Thieves' side of the court. What was it like, the team all getting together, huddling up, getting ready for that game 5?
After game 4, I led the final huddle. I was like, just keep it simple. You don't gotta overthink it. Like, we know we're better, but just don't fearmonger, and we just play our own game, draft properly. It'll fall into place. Like I think in best of 5, we're always gonna win versus that team.
Hmm. Does the team take turns leading the huddle?
Oh no, it was just like, oh, just give me this. I'm just gonna do the huddle. Grayson Golden Glue wanted to do it. I was like, nah, I'm gonna do the huddle.
What made you want to do it in that moment?
Cause man, everyone was down. I was trying to get the energy up. Everyone was like fear mongering. Everyone was scared. So I gotta try to lift them up somehow.
Yeah. And I know that you have experience playing a lot of, traditional sports as well as esports. Do you feel like you were kind of borrowing maybe from some of those experiences in these kinds of moments?
Yeah, definitely. I would say like uh I've been like even though I've only been playing like 1, 2 splits, I've had like a lot of experience in like stressful situations. So,
Hmm.
you know, I just have more experience so I can lift these guys up more that maybe don't have as much experience.
Well, I'm happy that you're able to do that. I'm sure that they're happy as well because you now continue on improving grounds. You're going to be at the live LAN, making top 4, playing on the LCS stage. Now, this will be your first time on the LCS stage.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yep, it will be.
What's that? What's that feel like? Do you have any expectations for what that's going to be?
I mean, not really. I'm excited, uh can't wait for my dad to come out and see me play on stage. It's been like a huge journey the past year, like from step 1 joining Dignitas. So,
Hmm.
um excited to, you know, prove how good of a team we are and just reflect my journey, as an individual
Hmm. I actually want to
on that
touch on
stage.
that. The experience from Dignitas to now, and catch everybody up. Maybe those that don't know the story. So you subbed in for Dignitas, kind of at the tail end of the summer split for Dignitas Academy last summer. Played Improving Grounds, top 6 finish, very impressive for such a young rookie at the time. I believe you were the youngest player in the entire tournament. But then you took time off. Uh, what's the story there? I'd love for you to give just kind of explain your process through this entire year, and then what brought you back to play League of Legends in the academy scene for 100 Thieves.
I mean, I've always wanted to like play pro, so um, it was kind of just like I had no choice but to take a break because I had to finish my final year of high school, and so if
Mhm.
I like so like after we finished or after when school was starting, it was hard to balance like scrims, solo queue, and school, so there was kind of no point.
Mhm.
Um, and so I kind of have to wait till this summer to play. I can't really play in spring, just because like the school schedule is too brutal. Um,
And you're
that's
still
about it.
playing sports, right? Like you were on basketball team, is that correct?
Like sophomore year, I played with my friends consistently like every weekend. So
Okay, sure. But a lot of different things going on. But then obviously coming back, I mean, we were so all ecstatic on the academy side when we heard that you were coming back to 100 Thieves Academy, just because we knew the damage that you had already done in the academy scene from the previous year. So looking back at the entire summer, how do you feel about kind of the impact that you've left so far? Obviously, you still have more to go here in Proving Grounds, but how are you feeling about where you are right now?
I mean, I'm feeling confident. No matter what happens, this split, this proving grounds, I'm confident that like next year, coming years, I'll keep progressing my career. I'm confident in that. So
You're
that's
up
it.
against Team Liquid Academy next. They won the
Yeah.
last split against your team, your org, but now you're the difference maker. So, what's going to be different this time around with the 100 Thieves Academy versus Team Liquid Academy rematch?
We have me, that's the difference maker, and we've grown as a team. That's it. You know, we're just gonna take them to the game 5 if that needs to happen.
Ooh, I mean, I would love another 5-game series. That would actually be amazing. But I also want to get your thoughts on Armeo because I got you on here, and I know he's probably the most experienced jungler, if not one of the most experienced players that we have in all of Academy ecosystem. Uh, is that intimidating at all for you as a player?
It was in the past, but now I feel like if we're talking about individual skill, I can play better, but he just has like a lot more experience on me, and I mean, I respect Armad too, so that's why I also want to beat him. But yeah, I mean, he's just like a solid jungler. You know, can't take that away from him. So I'm excited to play versus him.
That makes a win over him feel so much better, right? I mean, if you can actually topple that mountain, that'd be fantastic. I want to give you the opportunity. Will, this is your podium. Anybody out there that's watching right now? Anybody that want to give shout outs to?
Shout out to my dad. He's gonna be coming here next week. You'll see him in finals. I better see another Braum cosplay. Shout out to the boys in SAC. That's it.
All right, I love it. Thanks so much, Will. I can't wait to meet your dad live in the studio, and best of luck going into your prep against Team Liquid.
All right, thank you, Kangas.
All right, we'll bring back out the casters now to close out the show. That was awesome. We got Will on the broadcast. Whew, we've been looking forward to that for a while, and every time it's just something goes wrong. So we were crossing our fingers this time. And Joshi, I'm so happy we got to hear his thoughts going into this next pivotal series in 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid, the rivalry of the two academy teams, but also for his development as a player, as an individual. This would be huge for Will.
True, this is some of the biggest opportunity for him to play on the LCS stage, right? And it's so exciting that he gets to do it with his dad coming to the stage. We always look at all the parents that come out to support all their kids, and it really just gives a lot of confidence boost to know that you have that support system. But also, that means he gets to come to the studio, and you guys can too.
Absolutely. Make sure that you're buying your tickets right now. They are open. So if anybody wants to come in, whether you're from the LA area or if you want to buy play tickets, get them right now as quickly as you can and come hang out. We'll also bring back Julius, our guest, to close out the show here. But a reminder for everybody, make sure you're doing that. You can follow the Twitter account at @PathToLCS, and we have, I believe, it pinned to the top of the page right now where you can go and buy those tickets. Magical. This is incredible. This is the best bit you've done yet. Oh my goodness. All right. Julius, I'm happy we got you back here. I want to get your thoughts on Will, watching the interview there. Well, what are your thoughts on his play so far this series and his chances up against Team Liquid Honda?
I mean, I think Will was definitely a difference maker in this series, especially on the Wukong, on the Lee Sin. He was making plays everywhere, starting fights, surviving by the skin of his teeth. So I was really happy to see that, and it's good to see out of a young player like him, only in his second split of Academy. And going up against TL and Armeo, it's a tough challenge, but it's great to see the young players, and Armeo is going to put him through his paces. So
I love that he brought out the Lee Sin too. When he was like, "Look, I took over the huddle. I gave the speech to the team. I locked in Lee Sin." Like all the things that you want out of a jungler in a game 5 right there. So props to 100 Thieves Academy for continuing on. But that's it for the remote broadcast that we have for all of Academy and Proving Grounds for the entire year, which is crazy to think about. So we got to close it out with our Samsung Fast 5 and take a look back at this past week. Review all the crazy stats that we see. Josh, I'm going to get this one to you. Looking at the stats, looking at the numbers, what's jumping out to you is, damn, that's impressive.
Damn, that's impressive. One of the big things that does pop out to me is if it included all the games after the day, we would be seeing a lot more 100 Thieves members on here as well. Victor Jimian getting his mythic so fast earlier today, but you know, you see a lot of success coming through. Cloud9 with one of the most dominant early games we've ever seen going up against multiple teams so far this time. And now, as we start shutting down, as we start taking out a lot of teams, we get to see a little bit more concentration in who actually makes it to the board.
I can't believe Insanity and Copy are both like 2 minutes up over Pretty for fasting mythic item. That's actually kind of crazy.
Played well.
They did play well. So that's our Samsung SSD Fast 5 for the week in review. But that's it for the entirety of the split here for, you know, everything that we do from our computers at home with their green screens behind us. It's a low-tech production, but we try and make the most of it. And what a journey it's been. 2 to 3 full 5 games on the day. Let's take a look at the bracket before we close out the show here, starting with the lower bracket, I believe. Okay, there we go. Yes, lower bracket. Team Liquid Honda, 100 Thieves Academy. Julius, first thoughts given to me. This is an exciting match for sure.
So Team Liquid, they seem like they got in gear after they went down 0-2 to Immortals. So if they keep up what they started doing in the IMT series, I think it's going to be hard for 100 Thieves. But 100 Thieves also has some time in between the series to kind of figure their stuff out, clean up a little bit, and get ready. Because this team was the second-ranked Academy team. they definitely have what it takes if they're playing well. So it depends how they show up on the day, and it's on land, so that might change things.
They were #1 seed coming into the tournament. They won in the spring split. Same roster, same team up against 100 Thieves Academy, who they beat in 5 games last time around. But now a newer 100 Thieves Academy. You heard from Will. He thinks that they're ready. They're coming together at the right time. I cannot wait for that best of 5. Let's take a look at the upper bracket, though, and get rolling with that, because of course Dignitas Academy, Magical, the raid bosses of Proving Grounds, making it through the upper bracket.
Look, so I had predicted FlyQuest to make it this far. Once Dignitas beat them, I'm like, all right, I'm all aboard the Dignitas hype train. Yep. Let's go. But let's just run this gravy train to the end, and sure enough, they have. They're in the finals, their first appearance in Proving Grounds history, and I couldn't be prouder of them. This is a team that, I mean, a lot of us thought, you have a team that switches up elements at the last minute. You're like, okay, how well are they going to be able to synergize? How well are they going to do? Well, Perry, a rookie jungler, has come in, slotted really well. Insanity has been playing out of his mind, and same with Gamsu.
Insanity's playing at the peak of his entire career. So I think it's understandable, Joshi, that Dignitas are actually the raid boss here.
Yeah, and at the end of it, right, all 4 of our top seeds got to the top 4 Proving Grounds. I mean, everything's gone according to plan, right? No, we have our #1 and #2 fighting just to get 3rd place, right? And beyond that, they still got to go through Cloud9 and Dignitas, who are waiting for them. This has been a topsy-turvy Proving Grounds, but it's been incredible to watch how far some of our teams have overperformed so far throughout this tournament.
This is the 4th Proving Grounds that we've had of all time. The first one, it was actually no org taken against Cloud9, so it's an amateur team that won. But in the last 2, it's been 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid both times, 5-game series both times. That's impossible this time around, because they're matching up against each other for that 3rd place match. But I still hope that they give us 5 games in classic fashion.
Of course.
Julius, thank you for being on the show. It was awesome having you on. Fantastic insight on the players, on the teams, on what it's like to be on the amateur side of coaching, as well as, you know, you've played in collegiate in the past at this level. Where can people find you? What are you up to these days?
You can just find me at Coach Julius Lowell. I tweet about League of Legends mostly and some other things, but I don't really have any other socials, so you can look for me there.
Are you going to do anything fun this offseason? Do you got any plans?
No, just looking to, you know, move on from amateur, kind of move up to the next level, so.
Ooh. All right, any Academy teams, you know where to find him now. Magical, Joshi, always a pleasure. Magical, I can't believe you kept the antlers on the entire show. I did not think. Well, they did fall off that one time. I did see on camera that they did fall off that one time. So we'll give you maybe minus 0.1 for that one. But thank you, everybody at Esports Engine. They keep the gears running, and they've been fantastic to work with this entire split. This is our last day with them, so shout-outs especially to Joey, our producer that's been with us every day. There's a lot of other names that I'm just blanking on right now. I should have written them all down, but Esports Engine, thank you so much for all the help that you do. And Joey Wheeler, I know that's not your last name, but we call you that all the time. Kelsey Moser, our amazing producer, also keeps all of us in line. Thank you to everybody on the broadcast, from the Proving Ground qualifiers that casted all the amateur teams and helped us out here with Proving Grounds, to all the Academy casters on the team. And especially thank you to the players for putting on this performance. We wouldn't have this entire show if it weren't for all these players wanting to go pro and make it to the LCS. Speaking of, we're playing at the LCS Arena starting next week, where the top 4 will continue in Proving Grounds on the stage. I'll see you there.